Good evening. I'd like to call to order the May 14th, 2019 regular meeting of the City Council. May we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Krupa?
Here.
Councilmember Meyer?
Here.
Councilmember Percival?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Brown?
Here.
Mayor Riley?
Here. That I'd like you to stand for the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. Invocation will be given by James Fleming, Tenant San Jacinto Interfaith Council, and Salvation Army. Pledge of Allegiance will be given by, or started by, Council Member Carly Meyer.
All right, if you guys would bow your heads to me, please. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight asking for your guidance, your wisdom, and your support as we begin this meeting. We need to serve our community. Allow us to grow closer to the challenges we face, knowing they are in your mighty hands. As trusted servants, we seek blessings over our deliberations tonight. May we act wisely and well. Give us clear insight that leads to outcomes that promote the common good. Lord, fill us with grace as decisions and discussions affect many people. Thank you for being our source of guidance. In your name, Jesus. Amen.
Pledge to the American flag. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Well, as you know, we didn't get to closed session tonight based on our homeless presentation. However, we'll move on. Thank you. We'll move on to City Council business. And, we'll do a closed session at the end of our council meeting. City Council business items are expected to be routine in nature. They may be acted upon by City Council at one time without discussion. Any council member, staff member, or citizen may request removal of an item for discussion. Sarah, do we have any public that wants to pull an item? Okay. Do we have any staff member that wishes to pull an item?
Item 13 for correction, please.
Okay. And do we have any council members that wish to pull an item? He pulled number 13.
I'd like to pull 6 and 10.
6 and 10. I'd like to pull 12. Okay, and that leaves us items 7, 8, 9, and 11. Approval, if I may have a motion, please. Second. Please vote. And that passes 5-0. Item number 6.
Yes, I just have a question on that. On the warrant register for March 31st, what makes up the $12,800,000 expenditure? Do we have anybody from finance?
Do we have Lorena here? Yes.
Good evening. I don't have the detail with me to tell you. I'm sorry.
I called you earlier today.
Yes.
I really should have.
I will follow up on that and
Follow up on
give you
that
detail.
because it's usually June or July that we make the prepayment.
July.
First.
Yes.
So I was looking at that and going, did we make another prepayment or what exactly was, because that's the
No,
term
actually, I remember now. It's, we moved money to Bank of New York out of LAIF so that our treasurer can invest it, and I believe it was about $10 million.
So it's for an investment.
And the balance of it is just a normal accounts payable.
All right. I'm good with that. Thank you, Lorena.
Okay. Want to make a motion on that?
So I'll make a motion to receive and file.
Second.
And that passes 5-0. Item number 10.
That's mine too.
Yes.
And this may be for both the chief and Lorena. Nothing negative about this program, because I think it's good that we're being allowed to keep the CSOs, or RSOs,
Yes, ma'am.
SROs.
SROs.
Those initials right. But how is this accounted for in the budget?
It's in a revenue line, so it's not directly in my budget, but it does pay for 3 officers.
Okay, then my next question is the expense is still in your expense line, but the revenue isn't brought into a revenue line for PD.
Yes, that's true.
Shouldn't it be?
I'll leave that up to Lorena.
And I realize we do this every year, and all of a sudden this year, since we're getting so picky, well, since we're going through this line item by line item.
The expenditures are part of the police department's regular budget.
Right.
And on the revenue side, the money coming in from the school district is invoiced monthly for 10 months, and it's just a revenue line item.
It just goes into the general fund. Now I'm going to ask the next question. Is there any way that for our purposes internally and for the public, that we can show that as an income that should be revenue neutral and expense neutral then for the police department? Because basically you've got 3 officers that are being paid by somebody else and not by the general fund of the city of Hemet.
You want to try that?
I'm guessing we could do it. That would be something new.
We could do it, it's just how it's presented. One of the things that we are looking at changing in the budget this year is the way we present the information. So as part of kind of the explanation of the general fund and everything that is in there, we can single that out. How many officers we have, how many months they serve as SROs, and what that recovery is, and how much that is.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah,
I think it's a more realistic approach to showing what we actually do.
Yeah, the other side of that too becomes some departments are more general fund kind of not reliant. So you look at community development that gets a lot of fees from their operation.
Yep.
And so you look at that operation and you say, wow, a big portion of that operation is covering itself in terms of the fees that it generates. So when we look at the net impact of the general fund, unfortunately, the police department, the fire department, city manager's office, city clerk's office included, just don't generate the revenues to offset the complete costs, but we can do some work on showing what the actual revenues that come into each department are.
Yeah, because without changing a policy tonight, maybe you could tell us what the impact would be on our budget, because it does happen citywide, right?
In terms of all revenues that go into
Right,
different
right.
departments, correct.
Yeah, because we couldn't just have for one department and not the rest.
Correct. And so we can get into that a little bit later if the council would like. Sure.
I think it's something that really needs to be addressed collectively throughout the department. So thank you for bringing that up.
You're welcome.
And thank you. And I hope that we can make sure we make that happen.
Yes. Okay. I know it'll make the chief happy. And I'm gonna talk about this one more. Oh, Chief, since you're here, and I can't get my iPad to move pages. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so just for public knowledge, I like to do math, and so I was doing
I
math
don't.
because it was scary. It was scary for me to see that there were 3 officers paid that much money, right? So I did the math and 10 months, and I compared, some of our contract cities, right? They do it by the hour maybe,
Yes.
and I was glad to see that we come in quite a bit lower, quite a bit. And so I appreciate that, and I wanted to notice that, because I'm sure people will look at this and say, holy cow, that much for 3 officers?
Yes, I haven't looked at the new rates, but generally we come in.
It was considerably lower.
Yes,
Per
considerably
hour,
lower than a contract rate.
including all of the benefits and everything. So I wanted to acknowledge that to you. Thanks. Please vote.
Linda and Carolyn. And that passes 5-0. Okay, item 13. Oh, excuse me, 12. My staple covered that. Item number 12. Okay, item number 12. I know that we've done this before. And, you know, you go through life with hindsight and you learn things through the, you know, experiencing things. And I was going over this contract, and I understand that our site has been selected to be the building that they're going to use. We have a kitchen that they can utilize, right? So the wording in the contract is kind of, I don't know. I don't know that it's okay for us to be, we're considered the agency site. There's quite a few legal stipulations put on us, and health, USDA regulations, and we're a library. So if they want to use our library, then I think it's great if they want to use our library. It does say in here, the agency site will be providing recreational and educational programs. So that sounds good. That's in all the whereases. They're going to be doing the food service, serving, etc. But then it also holds both parties responsible for county health laws, USDA regulations. It requires the agency site, us, to add the sponsor, the school district, as an additionally insured. Hopefully they are coming with their insurance.
Yes, they are.
And so there's some liability, loss of compensation to the sponsor. The agencies will compensate the sponsor. So that's the city will compensate the school at the USDA contract agreed rate for lunches in the event of non-compliance. So if we're just the building, there's a lot of language in here that's not necessary.
Well, that was,
Not your,
no, it's not my bailiwick. I passed it over to Stephanie Gutierrez, our assistant city attorney.
Yeah.
And she has gone through this with a fine-tooth comb and felt that everything would be acceptable. I know Eric took a look at it. Please shut me up.
Yeah, this was a difficult contract to do. The school district was reticent to make any changes. We went back for a couple weeks trying to get what we thought would be the minimum. I share your concerns, council member, on this contract, but it is, at the end of the day, this was the deal we were able to get from them if you want to do this program at the library.
well, and the thing is that we want to do this program at the library. So do they want to use our library? Because I believe in here that we were chosen to do this.
Yes, they chose us.
They chose us. So I think that there should be a little more flexibility with the legal on this.
Be happy to
We're
go
always
back
very
and
kind.
do it,
The city of
although
Hemet is always very kind at helping other people, but it doesn't always not come back to bite us. And so I think that we need to,
I don't
check this
disagree.
out.
I do think we're running up against a time limit.
we're always running against deadlines, but that's,
Yes.
they should probably not take so many weeks to compromise.
I agree.
Perhaps
Sorry.
that's something we could, if you choose to let us go ahead this year, next year we could say, here's what we feel should happen
Kathy.
before they, send us.
Could you tell us a little
Yes.
bit about the background on the program,
Oh,
and then
sure.
get into the deadlines and some of
Sure.
those things too, please?
Yes. 3 or 4 years ago, they came to us and said, there is a need in this community, in this area, for a lunch site. Would you be interested in doing that? We provide the lunches, we provide the setup, we clean your kitchen, we do the serving, we clean up. It gives us a chance, and this is something the state library has, and California Libraries Association has been encouraging libraries to participate in that. Last year, we served over 3,000 meals and built our recreational and educational programs around lunch and then snack. And it really worked out well. We had wonderful participation.
Yeah, definitely.
Does that help?
How does, I guess my question was, how does this contract differ from the contracts we've had in the past?
They're very similar.
Yeah, I think that we've just lived and learned
Mm-hmm.
and been screwed a few times. So, I mean, this has, the
Has there
city
been a
is,
negative impact on us
Oh,
in the
no.
past?
No, other than the fact, at the end of the program, we've got to do what we do for anything. We have to go up and go up and clean the carpets and that sort of thing. It's pretty much a one-time setup, and then hauling the trash out daily.
So what's the pleasure of council at this point?
From a real estate standpoint, this is more like a lease agreement because they're leasing our facility
Okay.
for them to provide. So you had made the comment about that we fed 3,000 kids. Well, we really didn't feed any kids. It was the school district that fed the kids because they're using our facility to then provide this service.
Okay.
So from my perspective, it's more like a lease. But
it
they're
says
putting
we
more-
provide, like on here, the
but they're-
whereas.
There's more language in here
Or
that
funds.
holds us to a higher standard of food service and food prep, and we're not doing any of that. We're just providing it.
100% agree, and that's how we approached it with them. Why are you imposing any liability on us for anything? You're leasing our facility and using our facility. And they said, nope, you have to be co-liable with us on all of these programs. And so we went through several rounds of trying to limit that or talk them into a lease or a license, and they wouldn't do it. And finally, we got to the point where we had to submit it to the city manager and the librarian and say, this is as good as we think we're going to get with them. There are issues with that. Do you want to move forward with the program?
I'm really uncomfortable with that as well. Carly, I see where you're coming from.
Because it says that we'll pay them for lunches in the event of noncompliance. So who's going to claim noncompliance? I mean, and there's a lot of liability put on us. I mean, okay, we pay for all the costs for the disposal of the at the designated site. Okay, that's something that we're willing to do. That's fine, right? But some of these other things, I mean, on page 4, item 3M, or I'm sorry, 3N is not even consistent with 2B on page 2. Both parties understand that the other is a governmental entity duly organized under the law, and the self-insured under the laws of the state, which insurance is adequate to insure against foreseeable claims, and neither party shall require either certification of such coverage or require additional coverage. Then you go over to page 4, and it says agency site shall add and name the sponsor, which is the school, as an additional insured to the commercial general liability. And it's not even consistent. That's not even consistent.
Well, then I guess my next question is, how do we get this presented at this point, at this conjuncture?
I think that if they want it, they can have a meeting and get it fixed. Because if we wanted it, we would have a special meeting.
No, I'm saying, here we are.
Or just
And
ask them, just
we're looking
explain
at
it to them.
something-
They've got to see that. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it if we asked them.
Yeah, I think that provision is consistent. They're just asking to be made an additional insured and vice versa. But I agree, there's a
No,
lot
what
of
I meant
liability
was,
imposed on us.
we have significant concerns, and yet here it is in front of us, and those concerns haven't really been addressed.
Nope.
So they need to be addressed.
When does this program start?
Program starts the second week of June. However, they're doing a training next week. That's sort of the deadline we're up against. Now, we can go to the training and see if we can, in the meantime, get some sort of,
Are our employees
Yeah.
or volunteers providing food service at all? Are our employees or volunteers providing any food service?
No.
Handling food?
no,
All we're doing is renting out the room?
yeah.
We are pulling the kids aside, and it says it on the 4 whereas, the 4th one, recreational and educational programs by the agency site. Yes.
I am completely comfortable going back with the city manager and saying, we'll be happy to lease the facility to you for this period of time under our normal reservation lease agreement, which is what we tried to approach them to begin with.
Give it another shot.
And
Okay.
but the result of it is if they don't want to do it, then won't be able to do the program.
There was quite a number of back and forth that went on between the library, the attorney's office, and the school district on this item. So I can't tell you how many hours were spent trying to get the issues that Eric has mentioned squared away with the school district as it relates to just making it more in line with what the city is accustomed to seeing.
Well, and how long ago did they first approach us for this?
We contacted them this year in February saying, did you want to use us as a site? They got back to us in March and said yes, and then sent this contract, the original contract, in March saying it was, here you go, early March. So we've been working for the last 2 months trying to iron out the concerns.
Because we are familiar with, I mean, you rent that for events, and so when outside caterers come in, they have to have the proper certifications.
Correct.
So we understand how all that works, and
Correct.
it's not like this is our first time.
It's not our first rodeo.
Was there a particular or a few sticking points that resulted in this large contract that we just couldn't get over? Because I agree with my colleagues, it's a pretty simple facility rental situation.
That's not how they view it. In their view, they have to pass on the obligations of their funding, and they want us to be liable for making sure that it meets all of the required health standards and a whole other litany of things. And our arguments to say we shouldn't be liable for any of that. Okay, we'll make sure that the facility itself is eligible to be used and meets the appropriate standards, but we're not handing out food. We don't need training in that. We're just giving you the facility for a particular time. They didn't want to move. We finally got to a point where we were running up against the deadline, and the instructions were, let's put this together and give it to council.
Oh, thanks.
But
There we are. Give it back to them and say, we don't like this.
I'm happy to do that. We did that several times. The point that I think the librarian and the city manager and myself get into is we don't have authority to say we're not doing the program since we've done it for a number of years. And that's why it's coming to you, because really this decision comes to we're not doing the program unless we take some of this stuff out and we have a more traditional lease or license arrangement.
And really what prompted this is typically this hasn't been something that's been before the council, but when I saw this, I felt that it was something that needed to go before the council, and so that's when Kathy started working with
Caused
Eric.
the whole problem.
Yeah, but
You can't make a decision yourself. Huh?
But I realized the liability and the issues associated with this program, and it's really something that the council needs to go ahead and authorize and make sure the commitment is there in terms of the additional liabilities as it relates to this program.
Well, and I agree with that to some extent. However, when we're pushed against the wall, that's the unfortunate. Because
the kids can't be penalized.
No,
because
kids can't be
technicalities
penalized.
and legalities on a piece of paper. Right, and I would make it very clear from the city, from our city council, that we absolutely want to help the kids. But like it says in their contract, that we are providing these type of services, they're providing the food service, and I think coming together to help kids, they're going to have to be liable for their responsible section, and we'll be liable for ours.
I think if the council will delegate the authority to the city manager to sign a contract along those lines, we can certainly present that to them. It won't take long to draft, and we should be able to move forward if they'll accept it. There might have also been some hesitancy on behalf of the people we were working with, that they had already submitted this to the board, and they didn't want to take it back to the board.
Ah. Well, just
Yes, because the dates, if I may interject, the date never changed in the document.
Aha.
Okay, and I have one other little gizmo on here. 3E. This is the agency site. We're the agency site, correct? E says, daily prior to 1 p.m., provide the sponsor with the number of lunches required for service for the next day. How would we know that?
And there are many, I mean, every line, there's something that we have an issue with.
They've
So
made those decisions in the
And
past.
listen and give it back to
Yeah.
them? It's crazy.
I understand, and I really share your frustration, and the more times we pointed that out, the more times I know we have to have that language.
Okay.
I'd be willing to try to float a motion that we authorize the city manager and the city attorney to renegotiate the contract subject to our preferences as identified. Is that sufficient?
I'm not comfortable voting on it. I want to see it because this already came to us once. It's here.
Yeah.
You're going to bring it back to us or not? He's not bringing it back.
We have time. We have the next council meeting.
Kathy, is there enough time?
I believe, yeah, we do have another council meeting, yes. So we'll just get together and
Yes, we can do that.
work on that.
Bearing in mind, this is something we want to do.
Right.
Emphasize.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay.
All right, council, thank you.
Thank you.
Give direction, or we're going to vote?
Oh,
No,
no, there
I don't
was,
think we need to
I thought
vote,
that
right?
that was your motion, and need a second, and then I guess we do.
Will you read that motion again?
Authorize the city manager and the city attorney to negotiate this agreement with County Unified School District and bring back to city council consideration.
Is there a second? Okay. Please vote. Carly.
Shoot.
Passes 5-0. Great. Now, item number 13.
So I just have a correction. It should read amend the 2017/2018 through 2021-2022 5-year capital improvement program. So we just need to correct that in the resolution. That's the reason I pulled it.
I'm sorry, should be 17.
That's correct.
So,
And the resolution needs to be corrected as well.
okay, so you're
To
pulling
reflect
it,
that.
just pulling it off.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. With the correction.
Oh.
That's why I pulled it correct as amended.
All right. So, approve as amended. Any other concerns?
I have a few questions too, I'm sorry. I have more notes on this than I remembered. But if this is for the paving, right? And so it says the square footage, that's about 3.5 miles of a 2-lane road. Is that about right?
So we have Robert Vestal that can answer those questions related to this item for the council.
Love math? Okay.
Good evening. I don't have a calculator with me. I can get one.
Hey, I
I'll
already
give you a
did.
number if
I
you'd like.
already did the math. It's about 3.5 miles. My question is, and it isn't necessarily for him, but we have these funds that are set aside for road improvements. And are we going to take 5 years to do 3.5 miles? Or are we going to do more with the money that we have set aside?
Sure, Robert. I'll defer to Robert.
Sure. So this is for one project,
Mm-hmm.
and we are slating it for the 18-19 fiscal year.
Okay.
So the square footage you see is reflective of just one project.
Okay.
As part of the 5-year CIP total
So you're
project.
going to keep bringing us projects with
Yes,
this money that has
absolutely.
been set aside? All right, that's all I need to know. Thank you. So the projects are actually called out in the resolution, and those are the little streets that are going to get done?
Yes. In the resolution, I believe the last page, it identifies the streets.
Right. Project ones. All right, thank you. I'll move to approve. Second. Please vote. And that passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is communications from the public. Anyone who wishes to address the council should have submitted a request to speak form to the city clerk. Speakers are limited to, how many speakers do we have? In lieu of the fact that we've got so many people that would like to speak, I'm going to jump to the presentations that we have to give. We have 4 to give, and I'm going to do that first so that they can leave and not have to sit through everything else. Okay. And the first presentation would be proclaiming the week of May 19th to the 25th, 2019 as National Public Works Week.
I brought part of my tribe with me.
Oh, I'm so glad. People that we rarely see but are out there working every day.
Every day.
So, City of Hemet Proclamation, May 14, 2019. Whereas Public Works Service provided in our community are an integral part of our citizens' everyday lives and would not be provided without the dedicated efforts of the Public Works professionals who service the City of Hemet. And whereas the support of understanding and informed citizenry is vital to the efficient operation of public works systems and programs such as water treatment, sewer collections, storm drain, road maintenance, parks, public buildings, facilities, and fleet services. And whereas it is in the public interest to gain knowledge of and to maintain a progressive interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2019 marks the 59th annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by American Public Works Association. Now therefore, I, Bonnie Wright, Mayor of the City of Hemet, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby proclaim that the week of May 19th to the 25th, 2019, as National Public Works Week. Further, I urge all citizens of the City of Hemet to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees to recognize the substantial contribution they make in protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life. And so, I'm going to present it to the president. On behalf of the entire City Council, we'd like to tell you how much we appreciate all that you do. Like I said, you're people, in our eyes, certainly not out front in what we see every day, but certainly the public sees every day. And so for that, congratulations on another year of great service.
Great. Thank you.
And with that, thank you very much for all your efforts.
And if I may, Council, because it is rare that I get to drag these gentlemen away from their sleep and dinners, I'm always excited, number one, as you know, when we get to celebrate Public Works. And this year, the theme for National Public Works Week is It Starts Here. And that theme was really based on the fact that public works operations as well as engineering, I'm not leaving out my engineering folks as well, are really a cornerstone to building quality of life in a community. They design the roads, they maintain the roads. We've just talked about some of the street work that's coming along. One of the things that I wanted to share tonight is so that the staff members that I have behind me are Charles Russell, who you know is one of our public works superintendents. We also have Greg Holyoke, who is our amazing street supervisor and does things like closes bridges in 4 minutes flat. We have Ishmael Lucio, who is a 19-year employee of the City of Hemet in our tree trimming division. We also have Mauro Lozoya, who is our park supervisor and oversees the tree crew, as well as Mike Sanchez, and Mr. Angel Guerrero, who is our newest permanent addition to Public Works. So, and you're right, we do a lot of work behind the scenes. I would like to take the national theme of It Starts Here and change it to It Starts Here at 5 a.m. and it continues all day, because we always have some management staff and field staff ready to go. They're always on call. They're always on standby. They're moving knockdown poles. They're filling potholes. They're clearing drains. So one of the things that we wanted to do this year, and I didn't want to take a bunch of time, but some of our staff thought it would be appropriate, number one, and nice to recognize Public Works as first responders as well. We have our role in that. So we're going to be getting together some magnets and some stickers that we'll be putting on the back of our vehicles that you'll be seeing, and we're excited to be here, get to continue to support our other departments. And just to wrap this all up, with Angel sneaking in, you have got 90 years of Public Works with 7 people standing in front of you today, 90 years with this city in Public Works. So big tell on how dedicated these people are. So I just wanted to make sure we had an opportunity to...
I want to say something to you guys, and this is on behalf of our neighborhood, but during those last big rains that we had that 100-year-old plus pine tree that went across and blocked in 2.5 cul-de-sacs, and the people were stuck, and you guys came out, I don't know, it was like 8:30 at night, and at least cleared an opening. The part that you don't know is that the people on the other side of that tree that we're trapped in, we have bedridden people, we have handicapped children, and I can't even express to you how thankful they were. So I'm in charge of our neighborhood watch, and so I was getting messages, and I just want to relay that to you guys. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So this is sweet. Thank you. The next one is proclamation in the city of Hemet for mental health month. And I understand Rick Gentilelli. Not too bad for somebody that's Polish, huh? So, whereas, it's not going to work unless I put these on. Whereas mental illness can affect anyone regardless of age, background, employment, education, and income level, with those who are very young and seniors among the most vulnerable, and whereas the National Alliance on Mental Health and Illness reports that 1 in 5 American adults experiences mental illness in a given year, 1 in 5 youth aged 13 to 18 experiences a severe mental disorder at some point during their life, and more than 2 million Americans aged 65 and older experience some form of depression. And whereas there are treatment services and community support systems that are helping many with mental health conditions recover and be able to move forward to lead rich and fulfilling, productive lives. And whereas friends, family, and community members play an important role in extending understanding and compassion about mental health and in promoting the wellness and recovery of people living with mental illness. Now therefore, I, Bonnie Wright, Mayor of the City of Hemet, on behalf of the entire City Council, do hereby recognize May 2019 as Mental Health Month. As the Mayor, I also call upon the citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, and schools in the City of Hemet to recommit our community to increase awareness and understanding of mental health, expand the dialogue about the steps our citizens can take to promote mental health and wellness, and foster an understanding about the need for appropriate and accessible services for the mental health needs of all people. So on behalf of the City Council, I present this proclamation to you. Sure, absolutely.
First off, good evening. I'm Rick Gentilelli, as the Mayor said it correctly. I've been appointed by the Board of Supervisors to represent consumers from the 3rd District, of which Hemet is in, as a member of the Riverside County Behavioral Health Commission, of which I've chaired for 2 years, and I've been on the commission for approximately 5 years. On behalf of the Riverside University Health System, Behavioral Health Department, and the Behavioral Health Commission, I would like to thank the Mayor, through the Council, and the City of Hemet for participating in our May is Mental Health Month event by presenting us with this beautiful proclamation. We appreciate your support of the County of Riverside's continued efforts to raise mental health and substance abuse awareness within the county. This proclamation will be on display at our upcoming May is Mental Health Month Wellness and Resource Fair. There are flyers outside on the table related to the fair. It's a free event. Now this is going to get everybody in there. There's free food. We have hamburgers, hot dogs, and we have great cooks. We have drinks, chips. There's probably somewhere between 20 and 30, 40 vendor booths. And for those of you who do a lot of shopping, you can get a lot of really good bags that are made out of cloth to reuse for shopping, as well as the goodies that they give you. You know, and most importantly, it has to do with the awareness of mental health and substance use. And I think we all know that it's sometimes the foundation of every problem in every city. And I also chair the Veterans Committee, which is under the umbrella. And I do that because I have a vested interest as being a veteran and losing my son in the war. So those of you who can make it, I would appreciate it. It's again, the flyers are outside. It's next Thursday at Fairmont Park. It's free. There's so many goodies, and it is great food. And again, I'd like to thank the City Council and Mayor for the proclamation. Are there any questions?
Any comments?
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Our next presentation is a certificate of recognition for John Gifford. Gifford, please. So a bittersweet moment.
Indeed.
Bitter for us, sweet for you. How many years was it?
10 years.
10 years
Yeah.
on the Planning Commission. Almost all those years as chair.
9.5 years.
9.5 years.
Yeah.
So that's...
Nobody else wanted to do it. I can second that.
And certainly big shoes to fill for anybody stepping in after you. But on behalf of the council, I'd like to read this recognition. Susan, put my glasses on. In sincere appreciation for your dedication and professionalism in serving on the Hemet Planning Commission from April 1st, 2009 to June 1st, 2019, and providing exceptional leadership, wisdom, and integrity in his role as chairman of the Planning Commission for the past 9 years. The City of Hemet is grateful, very, very grateful, for the many contributions that John Gifford has provided in his role on the Planning Commission in advancing responsible growth and development in the City of Hemet. So on behalf of the entire council, I can't tell you how sorry we are to see you go, but happy for your next challenges in the years to come. It's kind of a staple that we need a picture of, a long-lasting picture of. No, let's not get crazy. That's yours. John, thank you so much for your time and all your expertise. Yes, you did.
Thank you. Well, those of you that know me know that I probably have lots of witty things to say, but I'm not going to say those. I just want to say, Honorable Mayor, City Council, staff, planning staff, it really has been a pleasure. It went much faster than I expected, and it was challenging, fulfilling, and I just want to say for those who don't know, the Planning Commission serves a very vital function, and
There's some great people on that commission, and I applaud you for your selections, and I thank you for the support that you've given us over the years, and I will miss it, but I know it's in good hands, so thank you very much.
Thanks, John. Before you go, John, I do want to say a couple things. I had the pleasure and the honor of serving with John for 5 years on the Planning Commission before I was elected to City Council. And 2 of those 5, I served as the vice chair. And I prayed every day for a meeting that he would make sure that he was there, because there was a couple times I had to run the meeting, and it was definitely tough shoes to fill to run a meeting with John not there, because he did such a great job running those meetings, keeping everything on task, not letting things stray too far, and keeping projects moving forward. So, John, thank you for your service to the city and your service on the
Thank you, Mr. City Council. Thank you very much. Well, listen, you added a lot to the City Planning Commission, not the least of which is what we call the Percival Rule. That is, starting in May and going through the summer, we don't have to wear ties, because he never does. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is a rough one. Deanna. City of Hemet Proclamation, May 14, 2019. I don't know why I keep picking these things off. Whereas Mrs. Eliano has dedicated herself to a career of public services, including over 10 years serving the City of Hemet as the Community Development Director. And whereas Mrs. Eliano has distinguished herself as a leader by consistently approaching all responsibilities with vision, passion, and an unwavering desire to better our community and the city as an organization. And whereas Mrs. Eliano has positively impacted the City of Hemet's future through the development of the 2030 General Plan, development and implementation of the Restoring Our Community Strategy, ROCKS program, and continually taking the lead role in building strong relationships with our business and development community and regional agency partners. And whereas Mrs. Eliano, remarkable leadership, extensive knowledge, and her aptitude for creative solutions has moved this community forward and established a benchmark for service excellence that has been invaluable to this and previous city councils. Now, therefore, I, Bonnie Wright, Mayor of the City of Hemet, on behalf of the entire City of Hemet Council and community, hereby express our extreme gratitude for your many years of service to the City of Hemet and for all that you have contributed to this community in your tenure as Community Development Director. We further wish you continued health, happiness, and prosperity in retirement. That's a really tough one. Thank you so much. I think council needs to come down for this one as well, because, again, really tough shoes to fill. I don't know how we're going to do it. It's always been very reassuring when you were behind the realm of community development. So we knew we could trust what your recommendations were. We knew that you, above everything else, would do the best for the city. So for that effort, so that's tough. Oh, I guess. I honestly don't think that there's enough whereases that would take into account of what Deanna has done for us for the last 10 years. So, again, thank you from all of us. So,
All city staff and rights are going
Oh, wait.
Okay, we'll photobomb. I'll do a panorama.
Could I say a few words? Sure. Kurt, up with the next one.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is, for as many times as I speak before you and speak before groups, it's always hard for me when it's times like this. And I just want to express my sincere appreciation for all of you and for my colleagues and staff. It's been challenging, but it's been a wonderful blessing for me to be here and to offer what I could to the city of Hemet and trying to, use our knowledge and skills to do the very best we could for the city. And I'm a firm believer in this city. I think there's tremendous opportunities ahead, and I wish all the very best for all of you and for the city of Hemet and all that's been accomplished. And thank you so much for your the support and confidence that you've always had in me and in my staff, and it's very, very much appreciated. And I will sincerely miss all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deanna. Yeah, absolutely.
I just wanted to take a couple moments to talk about how much of a asset Deanna is. A lot of people don't know this, but before accepting the position here at the City of Hemet, I actually came to a council meeting. And one of the deciding factors for me to make the decision to come here was actually Deanna. And so I saw the way that she presented herself, I saw the way that she carried herself, and I saw that the way that she was able to connect not only to the business community, but the staff here. And that was really one of the deciding moments for me when I knew that we had a community development director like Deanna. So with that being said, I know I speak on behalf of the rest of the staff here at the City of Hemet that Deanna will be greatly missed. One of the things that I can probably most count on Deanna is she doesn't pull any punches. And so that's sometimes you hear things that aren't the easiest to hear, but it's things that need to be said. And so with that, Deanna, I will miss you very much. I wish you very much happiness and success in the next stages of your life. And we will be here all the time with open arms if you ever come back and want to come back or visit us. So thank you, Deanna.
Keep your phone handy in case we need to phone a friend.
Do not change that phone number. Okay. Oh, boy. Okay. Now back to communications from the public. Again, anybody who wishes to address the council should have submitted a form